The studio lights blazed down on the set of The View, where Joy Behar sat poised behind her desk, her sharp eyes scanning the audience with that trademark mix of wit and fire. Across from her, Rowan Atkinson, the legendary comedian known for his silent antics as Mr. Bean, adjusted his tie with a subtle twitch, his face a mask of polite British restraint. The topic was comedy in the modern age, but tensions simmered from the start. Joy leaned in, her voice cutting through the air like a New York taxi horn. "Rowan, darling, your humor is so quaint. Slapstick in 2026? Isn't that a bit outdated, like rotary phones or bipartisanship?" The audience chuckled, but Rowan's eyebrow arched ever so slightly. He responded in his measured tone, "Ah, Joy, but timeless comedy doesn't it need words to wound, it merely needs a well-timed pratfall." She fired back, "Pratfalls? Honey, in America, we prefer punchlines that punch up, not trip over their own feet." The exchange heated up as Rowan demonstrated a quick mime of slipping on a banana peel, eliciting laughs, but Joy waved it off. "That's cute, but let's talk real issues. Your characters are silent for a reason, nothing to say?" Rowan's composure cracked just a hair, his fingers drumming on the armrest. He countered with a story from his Blackadder days, weaving in clever insults disguised as historical facts. Joy interrupted. "Blackadder? Sounds like a villain from a bad comic book. Tell me, Rowan, do you ever lose that stiff upper lip?" The audience gasped as Rowan's eyes narrowed, the first sign of the storm brewing. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper that carried across the room. "Oh, Joy, you have no idea." The banter escalated, with Joy probing into his personal life, questioning his reclusive nature. "You're like a hermit crab in a tweed shell," she exclaimed. Rowan shot back, "And you're like a bullhorn in a library, loud but lacking subtlety." Laughter erupted, but the undercurrent was electric. As the segment progressed, Rowan's mimics grew more exaggerated, parodying Joy's gestures, which only fueled her retorts. "Imitation is flattery?" "No, it's desperation," she snapped. The host tried to mediate, but the face-off was in full swing, the studio buzzing with anticipation for what might come next. As the commercial break loomed, Joy Behar doubled down, her questions turning sharper, like knives hidden in velvet gloves. "Rowan, your comedy relies on physical gags, falling downstairs, getting stuck in turkey heads. But in today's world, with cancel culture and sensitivity, isn't that just lazy? Where's the depth?" Rowan's face flushed a subtle pink, his hands clenching subtly under the table. He replied with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Depth? Joy, depth is overrated when a simple pie to the face can unite the world in laughter." But she pressed on. "Unite? Your Mr. Bean offends more than he amuses. Clumsy, selfish, a caricature of incompetence." The audience murmured, sensing the shift. Rowan paused, then launched into an impromptu Bean-esque routine, pretending to spill coffee on the desk, which splashed perilously close to Joy's notes. She jumped back, eyes wide. "Hey, watch it, Brit boy!" Laughter mixed with gasps as Rowan straightened up, his voice steady but edged. "See? Physical comedy evokes real emotion. Fear, surprise, joy." Joy wiped her sleeve dramatically. "Emotion? That's assault with a beverage." The back and forth intensified, with Rowan quoting Shakespearean insults from his repertoire, twisting them to fit the moment. "Thou art a saucy fellow, Joy, but thy wit is as blunt as a butter knife." She laughed, but countered fiercely, "And yours is as sharp as a spoon, good for stirring, not cutting." The studio erupted in applause, but Rowan's patience was fraying. He began to mimic her accent, exaggerating the New York twang, which drew cheers but also a glare from Joy. "Oh, now you're mocking me? Classy, Rowan. Real original." He stopped. "Serious now, mockery? No, imitation as homage. But if you insist on provocation..." The tension peaked as Joy brought up his environmental activism, clashing it against his carbon footprint from global tours. "Hypocrite much?" she accused. Rowan fired back, better a trying hypocrite than a complacent critic. The exchange grew personal, with veiled jabs at each other's careers. Joy mentioned his failed pilots. He alluded to her controversial exits. The host interjected, but the epic face-off was unstoppable, the air thick with verbal sparks flying like fireworks in a confined space. Post-break, the energy in the studio had transformed from light-hearted to charged, like a thunderstorm about to break. Joy Behar, undeterred, steered the conversation toward politics, knowing it was a minefield. Rowan, as a Brit, what do you think of our American chaos? Trump, Biden. Your comedy couldn't touch that absurdity. Rowan's lips curled into a sly smile. Ah, but absurdity is my domain. Your politics is Mr. Bean on steroids, bumbling leaders causing international mishaps. Joy snorted. Bumbling? At least our leaders speak. Yours mumble through crises. The audience roared, but Rowan's retort was swift. Speaking doesn't equal wisdom, Joy. Sometimes silence is golden, unlike your show's endless chatter. That stung, and Joy's eyes flashed. Chatter? We discuss real issues while you play dress-up in silly costumes. Rowan stood up abruptly, pacing a bit, his voice rising for the first time. Silly? My work has brought joy to millions without uttering a word that divides. Joy stood too, facing him across the desk. Joy, or escapism? Face it, Rowan. The world needs voices like mine to call out the nonsense. He whirled around, gesturing wildly. Voices like yours drown out the subtlety. Comedy isn't about shouting, it's about the quiet punch. The face-off turned physical in gesture, with Rowan demonstrating exaggerated debate mimicking politicians, which included a spot-on Joy impression that had the crowd in stitches. She clapped sarcastically, bravo, but impressions won't win arguments. Tensions boiled as personal anecdotes flew. Rowan shared a story of being heckled. Joy recounted panel fights. I've faced tougher than you, she boasted. Doubtful, he muttered, his British accent thickening with frustration. The studio felt smaller, the lights hotter, as insults layered upon jabs. Rowan finally snapped, his voice booming, Enough! Your so-called view is myopic. Joy leaned in close, and yours is blindfolded. The epic clash reached a fever pitch, the audience on edge, waiting for the inevitable explosion that would make headlines. The confrontation escalated beyond words as Rowan Atkinson, usually the epitome of control, began to unravel in spectacular fashion. He grabbed a prop from the desk, a fake microphone, and started a mock interview with himself, parodying Joy's style. So, Rowan, why are you so boring? In a high-pitched voice. The audience howled, but Joy snatched it back. Boring. Says the man whose biggest hit is a silent fool. Rowan's eyes widened, his hands trembling slightly. Silent fool. Mr. Bean is a genius of observation. He then launched into a full Bean routine, knocking over a water glass intentionally, water spilling everywhere. Oops, he deadpanned, but Joy wasn't amused. Clean that up, clown. She tossed him a napkin, which he caught and turned into an origa. Me bird, tossing it back. Art from chaos, he quipped. But the playfulness masked rising anger. Joy pushed further. Your chaos is contrived. Real life is messier. Rowan stopped, his face reddening. Contrived? My life's work mocked by a talk show tyrant. The name-calling ignited the studio, with cheers and boos mixing. He paced faster, ranting about the decline of physical comedy in favor of verbal barbs. You lot prefer tearing down to building up, Joy countered. Building up? Your gags build nothing but laughs at expense. The face-off turned chaotic, with Rowan mimicking her every move, shadowing her like a mirror. She swatted at him playfully at first, but then seriously, back off, Bean. He didn't, escalating to gentle pokes with a finger, testing boundaries. The host called for calm, but it was futile. Rowan's voice cracked. You provoke Joy and expect no response? She smiled wickedly. I expect better from a knighted comedian. That hit hard, his knighthood mentioned mockingly. He bellowed, Sir Rowan, to you! The epic loss of composure was evident, sweat beading on his brow, as the verbal sparring devolved into a comedic standoff that blurred lines between script and reality. In the heat of the moment, Rowan Atkinson's legendary restraint shattered completely, his losing it manifesting in a torrent of unfiltered passion. He jumped onto the desk, striking a dramatic pose. Behold, the king of comedy dethroned by the queen of quips. Joy laughed, despite herself. Get down, you lunatic. But he didn't, instead reciting a monologue from his repertoire, twisting it to roast the show. In the court of the view, jesters jest, but the audience jests best. At the hosts, the crowd went wild, chanting his name. Joy, not one to back down, climbed up too. Two can play, Brit. They faced off inches apart, voices overlapping in a cacophony of arguments. Your humor is archaic, yours is abrasive. Props flew, pillows from the couch, papers scattering like confetti. Rowan grabbed a foam finger from an audience member, waving it like a sword, on guard. Joy parried with a rolled-up magazine, touché, more like touchy. Laughter drowned out the chaos, but security hovered nearby. Rowan's rants grew philosophical. Comedy should heal, not heal. Joy shot back, heal. Yours causes hernias from laughing too hard. At nothing. The physicality intensified with playful shoves. Rowan slipping dramatically, pulling Joy down in a heap of giggles and grunts. "See? Pratfalls unite," he exclaimed from the floor. She helped him up, but the fire remained. "Unite? This is war." The studio was alive with energy, cameras capturing every moment for viral fame. Rowan's epic meltdown was a masterclass in controlled chaos, his anger fueling creativity. He improvised songs, bad puns, anything to outwit her. Joy matched him beat for beat, her experience shining. But as exhaustion set in, a mutual respect peeked through the barbs, the face-off evolving from feud to fabu. Laus folly. As the segment drew to a chaotic close, Rowan Atkinson and Joy Behar, both breathless and beaming, shared a reluctant handshake amid the debris of their epic TV studio face-off. "You win this round, Joy," Rowan conceded with a bow, his composure returning like a curtain call. She grinned, "Nah, it's a draw, best ratings ever." The audience erupted in standing ovation, the tension dissolving into applause. Rowan straightened his tie, whispering, "Until next time?" Joy nodded. "Bring your A-game, Bean." The lights dimmed as they exited, but the buzz lingered, clips already trending online. What started as a simple interview spiraled into legendary television, showcasing the clash of comedic titans. Rowan's losing it wasn't defeat, but a triumphant display of passion, reminding viewers that even icons have breaking points. Joy's unyielding spirit met its match, creating moments of pure, unscripted magic. In the end, the face-off wasn't about winners or losers, but the spark of human connection through conflict. As the credits rolled, whispers of a rematch filled the air, promising more hilarity. The studio, once a battleground, stood as a testament to the power of words and whimsy colliding in spectacular fashion.